British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, my name is Jonah Jung, and these are your news updates for 3 p.m. After the conclave, the Vatican has chosen Cardinal Robert Prevost as the next pope. This is the very first time an American cardinal has become the pontiff. Appointed by Pope Francis and born and raised in Chicago, he spent his life ministering in Peru. The new pope has said, "Peace be with you" in Spanish and in Latin to the crowds gathered, famous words spoken by Jesus Christ. He emphasized peace and evangelization before the Catholic community. Dignitaries from the U.S., such as President Trump, the Bushes, Secretary of State Mark Rubio, have congratulated the new pope. BC Premier David Eby and Prime Minister Mark Carney also sent messages of support and encouragement to him. Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni says Pope Leo XII will celebrate Mass tomorrow with the cardinals and talk with the media next Monday. Robert Prevost, the American cardinal and the new pope, has sent his greetings to Peru, a region in which he spent most of his ministry. During his first address as the Pope, Prevost says to people of Chiclayo in Spanish, a region of Peru located in the Pacific coast. Father John Lydon, who knows Leo and served with him, expresses his joy.
It's just a day of great joy and sometimes get choked up about it. A great blessing for the church, a blessing for the world, not only the Catholic Church.
For local news, as the Filipino community recovers from the damages caused by the Lapu-Lapu tragedy, City of Vancouver offers its citizens a chance to offer their condolences to the fellow Filipinos. The municipality says in a press release that the messages from the community members will be collected and compiled into a book. The comments of sympathy and care can be submitted either online or in person. The city has made a link to the website where you can write the messages. It also says the citizens can submit the messages at the main lobby in Vancouver City Hall from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. BCIT is expanding its student residencies to keep up with its needs for housing. Our reporter Thomas Adams has more on the details.
The tall timber building is the newest addition to BCIT's Burnaby Campus. Students may recognize this as the big construction site that's been going on for the last while. The building is a dormitory, set to house 469 students with beds, common spaces with TVs, and shared washrooms. The new building will increase the student population living on campus significantly, making it easier for students to find housing on campus who previously could not. The building is set to open this upcoming September. Applications are still open for the new building until May 24th. Thomas Adams, BCIT News.
Our reporter Thomas Adams joins us now live from the studio. Thomas, how will the rooms in the building compare to each other?
So Jonah, floors 1 through 6 will be single bedrooms with shared common area, while rooms 7 to 12 will have their own suites with the bedroom attached to an ensuite bathroom and a kitchen in the room.
Thank you, Thomas. How does this building compare to other dormitories?
So the company building it, Fast and Ep, has won many awards for its architecture, including the SEC 2024 Agriculture Award.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
The May Day festivals are underway in Port Coquitlam, a yearly celebration with deep roots in the city. Reporter James Go has more on its tradition and its history.
This year, the city of Port Coquitlam celebrates its 102nd May Day event. The festival is one of the biggest spring celebrations across the Lower Mainland. Port Coquitlam Mayor Brad West mentioned that these traditions originated in Europe.
May Day is a traditional spring festival that has its origins, and it was introduced to Port Coquitlam in 1923, and it has been happening ever since.
The origins of May Days in Port Coquitlam can be traced back to 1916, before any official event was formed 7 years later. In a city with as much community spirit as Poco, the festival has been a yearly tradition ever since. James Ngo, BCIT News.
Our reporter James Go now joins us live from the studio to give us more updates on the festival. So James, welcome. What was the origin of May Days in the city?
Well, one of the first unofficial May Day events in the city was actually back in 1916. It was hosted by a man named, I believe, Winter Maxwell. The event was hosted at James Park Elementary School, and it wasn't until 7 years later, in 1923, when James Park and other elementary schools got together to form the first official event in the city.
Thank you, James. That gave us a lot of insight. And what traditions have stuck from the early days to now?
Quite a few, but one of the main ones is the maypole dance. That's the one where you have a colorful ribbon on a pole and you dance around it. It's actually from a folk dance somewhere in Europe. And sometimes they do it around living things such as trees with hopes of a bountiful harvest. Thank you.
Thank you. For the national news, Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised that he will send more diplomats abroad to restore leadership and expand trade. During the election campaign, Carney said he will invest in foreign services as diplomacy is becoming more important in this world. The Liberal Party says it'll issue a new foreign policy. Pamela Isfeld, the president of the Professional Association of Foreign Service Officers, says the union is glad to see the Liberal Party focus on diplomacy. However, she says the group would love to know the details. She has expressed concerns as sending more diplomats involves more resources. Today marks the 80th anniversary of the surrender of the Nazis to the Allies. The family of the Canadian pilot who sacrificed himself has asked the federal government to honor him. After his plane got caught on fire, the pilot saved countless lives by crashing his plane into an empty field. Pilot William Stewart saved 6 crew members as well by ordering them to eject themselves from the plane. Lucas Barber, the pilot's grandson, says his cancer-fighting mother would want to see her father be honored.
Do it. What's stopping you? I don't get it. If all these people over there are doing everything, nothing's happening here, I don't get it. Do it. What is it? A piece of paper.
As measles outbreak continues in various areas across Canada, Saskatchewan's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Saqib Shahab, says the province is also included in the outbreak. He says as there have been 27 cases since mid-March and 15 of them from last week, this outbreak should be stopped.
We should not be seeing measles in 2025. That we are seeing some outbreaks in specific communities as if it was the 1950s means that the social contract of keeping each other safe and protected is broken.
Shahab says most cases involve children with unvaccinated youth involved. For international news, President Trump has announced that it'll have a trade deal with the UK after launching tariff attacks in April. He says the deal will include lowering the tariff on cars made in UK from 27.5% to 10%. It'll also remove tariff on steel and aluminum, which was initially announced. The final details are still being written up, according to the White House. In addition to threatening Canada to become the 51st state of the U.S., President Trump has once again decided to claim that Canada is subsidizing from his country. He has claimed during a meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney that $200 billion are being subsidized by Canada. The White House says the number is from the U.S. trade deficit with Canada and its military spending. But the experts say it is incorrect to use these numbers for subsidization claims. On the other side of the earth, with former president impeached, South Korea readies itself to choose the next leader. Key figures from the night of the martial law, such as opposition leader Lee Jae-myung, former People Power Party leader Han Dong-hoon, and former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo all decided to run for president. As President Yoon faces trial for treason next week, Korean citizens hope the next leader will be different. In entertainment, although experiments suggest the eggs are constructed sturdier than they look, experiments from MIT show that they can be easily broken. Joseph Benovia, a graduate student from MIT, explains more details about the incident.
A lot of people were surprised that the egg breaks at such a low height, but I think it's actually quite intuitive. If you've ever been trying to boil eggs and you drop the water gets hot and you let go, and then you hear the dreaded crack as it hits the bottom of the pot from like this high, you're like, ah. So it actually doesn't, it turns out like when you're hitting a very stiff surface, the level, you don't need to drop it from that high before it breaks.
For today's weather, it is so far sunny with a bit of clouds in the air. With less humidity expected than yesterday, Burnaby residents can leave their jackets at home and put on their summer outfit.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Welcome in to BCIT's The Crow. I'm Elijah Ford, and this is your 3:15 sports update. The Vancouver Bandits kick off their preseason tonight against the Seek Warriors. The Bandits are coming off of a strong year, finishing first place in the CEBL's Western Conference and making it all the way to the finals in the playoffs. The Bandits have additional extra buzz surrounding them this year with the addition of popular social media basketball influencer Tristan Jazz. Their home opener is scheduled for May 15th. In hockey, the Washington Capitals will host the Carolina Hurricanes tonight for Game 2 of their best-of-7 series. Carolina won Game 1 2-1 in overtime. Despite the seemingly close result, the Capitals were drastically outshot and outchanced in Game 1. Caps forward Tom Wilson says the whole game didn't feel like their kind of hockey.
Yeah, I think Game 1 just didn't feel like our game. It didn't feel, even right from the start, even when we were leading, even whatever, it just didn't feel like Caps hockey. So I think the focus for tonight is on our level of compete, our level, our pace of play.
Puck drop is set for 4 p.m. Toronto Maple Leafs starting goaltender Anthony Stolarz will not be making the trip to Florida with his teammates. Head coach Craig Berube announced this development on Thursday. The Leafs have not provided any formal update on Stolarz's status since he was removed from Game 1 of the series due to concussion symptoms. Stolarz has not been seen doing any on-ice work since, but he has been around the team, and all in the organization say he is in good spirits. Later tonight, the Edmonton Oilers are looking to take a commanding 2-0 lead in their second-round series against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Oilers are coming off of a fifth straight third-period comeback win, which is an NHL record. Edmonton head coach Chris Knobloch wouldn't mind his team scoring first, but says it's the finish that's important.
I think if you can pick a period that you're going to be the strongest in as a coach, you want to be best in the third period because that's where it's going to come down to. And I've been very happy with our third periods.
Puck drop is scheduled for tonight at 6:30. Moving on to golf, the Masters is still fresh in the minds of golf fans, and now the PGA Championship is back to the plate with possibilities just as compelling. Rory McIlroy is the latest Masters champion and the latest player to complete the career Grand Slam. The PGA this year is at Quail Hollow. That's a course where McIlroy has won 4 times. Jordan Spieth gets another crack at the career Grand Slam, and then there's Scottie Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, and Justin Thomas, all of whom have registered important victories in the weeks leading up to the PGA Championship. The Pittsburgh Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton following a rocky opening month to the season that saw Pittsburgh quickly slip into last place in the NL Central. General manager Ben Cherington made the announcement Thursday. Bench coach Don Kelly will take over for Shelton. The decision comes with Pittsburgh riding a 7-game losing streak, which saw its record fall to 12-26. Sheldon, hired by Cherington in November 2019 as part of a franchise-wide reset by owner Bob Nutting, went 306 and 440 in 5+ seasons with the Pirates. Hussein Raseki, a rugby player who won a silver medal with Fiji at the 2024 Olympic Games, has passed away at the age of 30. In a statement, his club says they learned of his death, which was caused by a road accident early on Thursday. The club added that they are in mourning and called him a radiant young man who is much appreciated by everyone in the club. Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry says there is currently no timetable for his return from a hamstring injury he suffered on Tuesday. After hitting a 14-foot floater, Curry came up lame, grabbing the back of his left leg and headed immediately to the locker room. Curry was in morning shoot-around today, helping other Warriors guards run through drills and address the media. He said he's currently not anywhere close to returning, and he will not rush the process. The Warriors have already ruled out Curry for games 2 through 4 in their series versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. They play again tonight in Game 2 of their series. Golden State leads 1-0. The Toronto Blue Jays look to snap their 4-game losing streak tonight as they play the LA Angels in their 3rd straight matchup in 3 days. The first pitch is scheduled for tonight at 6:38. Thank you for tuning in to the 3:15 Sports Update. I've been Elijah Ford. You're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane.